Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Talking with T. I'm your host, Chris Tatarian, and today we have an amazing guest for you guys. I reached out to my good friend, one of the GOATs in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He's an EVO champion. He's one of the greatest Street Fighter players of all time as well, the best Dawson player in the world, and the person who can solve any problem that I run into when it comes to Street Fighter. I mean, I trust this guy's mind. His labbing skills is insane. The greatest out there when it comes to labbing. And I want to introduce him to you guys. It is my good friend, Ryan, FChamp Ramirez. Ryan, take it away.
Yo, what's up, guys? Yeah, that's a very long introduction, Chris. Not used to that. Yo, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm really happy to be invited to this. Even though I talk to Chris whenever, because like he's been I've known Chris for quite some time now, and so it's just always awesome to join his stream or his, to his other calls. If it's like has some issues, has some issues. You've always been like helping each other in that sense.
Yeah.
And even though he's like saying like I'm helping him in labbing, he's also helping me in playing as well. So it's like it's a give it like so it's great that way. I work with a lot of pro gamers out there, a lot of professionals. So like working with Chris is always a pleasure. He has an amazing attitude in learning and getting better. This is why he's been so amazing throughout the years. He remained a top player for so long because he has an amazing attitude.
I
And
appreciate
that's something
that.
that I can see from like all the players that are actually really strong in the game or in any fighting game. That's their attitude. That's the blueprint right there. That there's no ego in learning.
No, there never is. And
Yeah,
whenever I approach you with a problem,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
I'm usually very salty. Like it's very frustrating. It's a very dramatic. How I you know what happens. You get very
yeah.
dramatic with the situation, but it's very quick where I start being as receptive as possible and taking everything that you're saying and trying to apply it. Now, it's funny that you mentioned that because we actually did this yesterday, and I was very
Yeah.
like on the negative side of things. But
Mhm.
some days you have good days, some days you have bad
Yeah,
days. But one
totally.
thing that's been consistent between you and me is that we can definitely have amazing games together, learn from one another,
Hmm.
and I've
Absolutely.
appreciated your friendship and your involvement with
Oh,
me getting better. And speaking
mhm.
of your involvement with me getting better, we can start off with the first thing that I wanted to talk about today was there was an Evo where I was playing against the Japanese Vega. I can't remember his name, but I was
Is
making
that
a run.
Reiketsu? Is that Reiketsu?
I don't
I think you're fighting Reiketsu.
was it
I
Reiketsu?
I think so.
That would be
Yeah.
crazy. But it was in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I remember I had lost the first match because
Yeah.
I had gone for a combo that was very difficult with Ken, and
Uh-huh.
it it ate me up. And then you were right next to me and you said, Chris, go to character select. So I go to character select and you look at me and you're like, just do tournament combos. Just do
Yes.
tournament combos. You don't need to do anything fancy. You had him dead. You don't got to do any
Yes.
fancy shit. Just kill him.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
so I ended up taking that advice and had to apply it immediately. And I ended up beating, I believe, if Ryan is saying it's Reiketsu, then that's Reiketsu. He's also a good friend of
Yeah.
mine. So shout outs to Reiketsu. But yeah, I ended up winning
It's
that match
Reiketsu.
because of that. And I wanted to start off this conversation with that because it's a fond memory that I have of you. It's one of the earliest
Uh-huh.
memories as well. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, when you're in the middle of a tournament, there's so many
Mhm.
combo routes that you practice.
Mhm.
How can you identify what the tourney combo is? How can you
Oh,
identify which situation to execute
to
that
go
tourney
first.
to go for it rather than going for the
Yeah.
optimal? And
Oh, yeah.
also, my understanding ever since that moment was sometimes being optimal means going for the tournament combo rather than the optimal
Oh,
combo.
totally.
So,
Totally.
I
Yeah.
think I have a good understanding of when to use the tournament combo. For
Uh-huh.
example, when you don't need the optimal combo to kill, you could just do something like a jump fierce Shoryuken to kill. You
Yeah.
don't have to do jab,
Yeah.
jab, jab, Kara Shoryuken. Or in terms of Street
Totally.
Fighter 6, you don't have to do the
Uh-huh.
extended combo. You could just do like a fierce drive rush, fierce, and it's
Yeah.
game over. Anything like that.
Uh-huh.
So that's my understanding. But for those that don't understand and don't know how to apply it, there is an extra layer that I wanted to ask as well, because in Street Fighter 6, there is a lot of combo routes that you can go to because of the drive rush
Mhm.
system. And sometimes you find yourself having a brain fart and not doing the
Yeah,
right combo or the tournament combo or the optimal combo.
totally.
So I definitely wanted you to like kind of go into that because your mind in these situations is fantastic, and you play Marvel, and there is just
Yeah, that's
insane
standard.
combos,
Yeah, that's standard.
insane combos. So go ahead
Yeah.
and let us know.
So let's say in fighting games, there's gonna be an optimal combo. Like how would just be like the absolute max that was currently available for that meta that's available to our technology, right? It's
Yes.
like currently. So that's the absolute max. So you call that optimal. Then you have suboptimal, which is like let's say that combo, which is the max is a 10 out of 10. Okay. Then the suboptimal is gonna be, let's say it's like a 9 out of 10. Okay. A tournament combo is 8 out of 10. But it's something that you will just never drop.
Mm,
It's as easy as your, fierce DRC, chin buster, run
right.
cancel into Tatsu. Kind of like that,
Right.
right? Something easy, like that you would just never drop. So now you look at it in a normal game setting, you have to go for the optimal combo when it's actually the skill level is super close and it will make a difference based on the how many times you have to hit this guy again. For instance,
Mm,
if you imagine like you fight somebody shoulder mirror and it's you guys are equally skilled, that would matter in that scenario. If like for instance you're gonna hit him 5 times to kill him, for instance, right? But then if you do optimal combo, you're gonna hit him 4 times
right.
instead of 5 times. So that would matter,
Right.
right? But in that case, at EVO, you were dominating every situation. You only lost in neutral. Like you only lost neutral maybe one time. You dominated neutral every single time. That one time that you lost because you drop a combo.
Mm,
Because and then, so that means you're better for that moment. So you don't necessarily to go for anything. You can literally win with low forward DP. I swear.
yeah.
You got to the point. So don't. So basically, the concept there is why even give the opponent an extra chance when you don't really have there was really no chance to begin with.
Mm,
Like I swear, like there's no point of going for it when it's already GG.
right.
Okay. Like also to be fair, in Street Fighter 6, you should go for optimal combo. I would say like 90% of the time, because the game's combos are way easier. Okay,
Hmm.
you're doing Street Fighter 4 combos. You have to do one frame links, some plinks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to do some carry DPs in between their stuff, right?
Of course.
So the combos are way harder there. So the tournament combos kind of existed in that game, existed in Street Fighter 4 and Marvel games in general.
Hmm.
And
More.
also you were younger, of course, at that time,
Yeah.
younger players would always go for the combos that they practice in training mode nonstop. But then didn't really consider the fact that in a tournament setting, when there's more emotions, there's more people, there's something on the line that can affect your performance in a way. You know what I mean? By a little bit. But let's say you kind of like nerf your execution by like 1%. That 1% is enough if you're doing the max of something. And now
Y-
you're giving him an extra chance. So that's why you see at the highest level, even Daigo don't go for max all the time, right?
No, he
Sure, he
doesn't.
would do max. But then at the end of the day, he doesn't have to. Like, look at infiltration. Like, just look at that. He doesn't do anything optimal at all. His optimal is his gameplay, kind of like Justin Wong, bro. Like, so like you look at the grades, I'm like, bro, they didn't even have to worry about that. It's like, damn,
No.
combos are small compared to what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed that actually when you mentioned Daigo is that he goes for the suboptimal combos and the
Hmm.
tourney combos quite a bit actually in ranked
Hmm.
match and in tournament. And I was like, man,
Yeah.
I wonder why somebody like Daigo who plays this game 24/7 is going for something like that. That there's a reason for that, and I need to be able to dissect the situations. And I feel like that's what it comes down to, Ryan, is like dissecting situations, the amount of life you have, the amount of life he has, and if it's even worth it. You have to consider whether
Yeah.
it's worth it. And for me in that situation at Evo, it was not, and I ended up losing
Hmm.
that match for it. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask you that question because it was something I was thinking about as well.
Hmm.
Because in Street Fighter 6, Ken has so many manual timed Jinrai
So many.
combos, a lot of manual timed stuff, and it makes me
Yeah.
wonder, like, man, what like this situation feels like I should have gone for an optimal, but if I dropped it, who knows what could have happened? Because what if the opponent does
Yeah.
wake up perfect parry, or so it's
Yeah.
just it's very scary. And today I was actually watching the Street Fighter League Japan finals, and I
Hmm.
noticed so many drops from people like Bonchan,
Yeah.
and from
For sure.
Fudo as well. Dropped some combos. Nauman. So
Absolutely.
it's there, it's relevant.
Yeah, it's there.
You're gonna
Hmm.
experience it as a new player just as much as we're experiencing it 20 years down the line. So it's something that you should definitely be considering, because I feel like people sometimes choke in those situations as well. It's easier to choke in that situation, which makes the Daigo parry so much more
Oh,
impressive, right?
incredible. Yeah.
That's why the Evo moment 37 is such a beautiful moment.
Absolutely,
Eh,
absolutely. That's why the stage, hype stuff when they come back, that actually means something. It matters so much more than when you see that done in an online rank setting,
yeah,
because that is the feelings like are there, the emotions, like the crowd, you're so something on the line. That match means so much. Like you can't use a lot of math anymore at that point. There's no more
right.
math. Everything's out the window at that point. It's all about your decisions at that time. Are you gonna be correct right now or not? Because you're gonna get eliminated. Kind of like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's not about the big sample size anymore. It's about that moment. So that's what's so special about an offline event when it matters like that.
Yeah,
So
man.
I
And
really love that.
speaking about Evo,
Hmm.
I wanted to go into this as well. So I'm just very curious about your Evo run. I wanted to ask you about your preparation for
Hmm.
that year, the mental state, how you felt
Yeah.
entering top eight, and how you felt when you won. I remember that
Okay.
year you were mainly focused on Marvel. I didn't really see you playing
Yeah.
Street Fighter
No
4
more.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
didn't have to. Yeah.
and you were just,
Yeah.
that was crazy, man. That was such a crazy year for you. And it
Oh.
was like, I'm still, you know what the biggest question that I have for you is about that Evo run? How in God's name do you play with shades on? Like,
Oh no.
just,
I
that's
had to.
just absolutely insane to me that
No,
you
bro. Yeah,
had
bro.
shades
You gotta
on.
understand. We have sponsors, bro. You gotta keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Chris. You know me. Real shit. You
Yes,
know who really I am.
yes.
But in that situation, we have to play the persona correctly. If you can play the persona in a small stage, you should be able to do that in the biggest stage.
Ooh.
Like I'm just saying,
Oh,
you have to.
that's
You know
real.
what I'm
That is, no, that is real. That is very
what
real.
the hell? Of course I
Talk
should be
about
able to
that.
do that. I
Yeah,
should be able to, like, get the crowd going and booming or something.
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's great. Like, well, it got me sponsored every single year. What
right.
do you mean? That is awesome. Events pay me to attend the events because have a hype match for their event. They
Mm-hmm.
have to pay me appearance fees and shit. So
Mm-hmm.
that matters. So like that's like, I had to play that, and I only care about the people that knows me for real, is who I am, how is their opinion about me. Like the people that never met me, they only watch me on stream. They can hate me all they want, and it's okay.
Yeah,
And like you understand, I came up with that concept is because when I got into FGC, right, my mentors obviously is like John Choi, Ricky, Vi, etc. Right,
right.
and then I look at the scene and I'm getting better, but then you got Mike Ross who has so much personality. I was like, man, this man's awesome. I love Mike. And then but everybody's a hero, and Justin
Yeah,
Wong is not a villain anymore because
yeah.
Justin had a villain face. I was
He
like, bro,
did.
I have
He
to be villain,
did.
right?
Justin
I
had
have
a
to be
I didn't know Justin had a villain phase.
yeah. So I have to be a villain then. So I have to be villain. So when I did villain and I beat Daigo, I had to talk shit a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I got sponsored immediately. Do you think that's fucking awesome?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. And
Right.
that
That's
was
it,
you.
fucking
That was you.
yeah. Yeah. I stood out. So now all the eyes are like shit. I had a small piece in the pie with the eyeballs that's paying attention to FGC. So
Yeah.
it would make sense. Then since majority of my sponsors are American and potential are American or one I'm paying, I have to play the game that gives the most eyeballs in USA. Marvel
Ooh.
and I ended up loving it. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. And
So it worked out.
in USA, Marvel was,
Yes, number 1.
yeah.
That's why they have the thing called "When's Marvel," right? That
Yeah.
that that term. And when you watch, like, Street Fighter is essentially bigger because it's a global game. But
Correct.
when you talk about pound for pound in USA, like just that, like in USA tournaments, Marvel is always more than Street Fighter
Mhm.
unless the international shows up and the international's following gonna follow them in the tournament. So
Okay,
there's
I'm
gonna be
so,
more.
this is just bringing back so many memories to me. Like, okay,
Mhm.
before you go into the Evo run, right?
Sure.
I wanted to ask the shades question because I was like, man, this guy has balls wearing shades. Because I feel like any sort of anything to me in grand finals of Evo has to be perfect. Like my position, how close I am,
Mhm.
nothing distracting my eyes. The colors have to
Oh,
be everything. So it was just
mhm.
very impressive because not many
Uh,
people could do what you did wearing sunglasses. I promise you that. It is way more difficult than you think because the colors are involved now. And I don't know if they were polarized or not. I don't know
They're
what's going
polarized,
on
bro.
there.
They're
Yeah.
Ralph Lauren's,
Yeah.
bro.
So
My
it
shades are
was
like
just,
good.
it was just very
Yeah,
impressive. But you know,
yeah.
you talking about this, it just brought back so many memories from when I got into the scene in 2009, and the era of the 2009 till about 2015 was beautiful. You can't
Oh,
recreate that.
beautiful.
But the
Yeah.
era of Marvel 3, when Marvel 3 first came out in those first few years, 2000, when did it come out? When did Marvel come out? I think
2011.
2011, right?
2011 all the way
2000,
to like 2017. It was great.
yeah,
Yeah.
so 2011 to 2012, that because you won in 2012, you won evo in
Yeah.
2012. Okay, so from 2011, the scrs, the ncrs, the
Mhm.
tournaments all over the us, it was just, there was nothing like it. And I remember having a conversation with Sherry a long time ago where she was like, you always bet on the Marvel gods, you always bet on the five gods.
Mhm.
And Sherry never lost any bets at tournaments.
Oh
So
yeah, you ain't gonna
I
lose that
remember
one because it was crazy.
you were one of them, Justin was another, Chris G was another,
Uh
and
huh.
I forgot who the other two were.
It was that. That was it.
Oh, okay. All right. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that led up, you know, it was such an amazing 2011 leading up to 2012. You're also winning tourneys and whatnot, but that Evo run
Mhm.
was crazy. So can you give
Uh,
us like an insight of your preparation for that year when you decided like, man, you know what, I'm gonna fucking win Evo. This is my year.
oh,
I'm so good at this game. And how did that preparation look? The mental state, all of it, bro. Just let's dive
okay.
into that shit.
So
People need to know what a
first,
champion's mindset
yeah.
is like.
So first of all, I when it comes to winning, I don't think about the product of winning. I say, okay, when I say like I'm gonna go to a tournament,
Mm,
I'd be like, I'm gonna win this. Like I'm gonna train to win this. I
mm,
don't do that. I don't even think about that until the moment. Okay, because it's only gonna add more weight to my shoulders that I might end up getting more nervous if ever. So I don't have that feeling. So the goal when I go to tournament is preparing for a tournament. I need to be super prepared. My preparation is super intensive, and then my goal is to just to play the best possible way that I can be. That's it. Because if I can play my best, my opponent has no chance. Basically, that's my mindset.
what
So
it,
I'm gonna that's gonna bring confidence based on my preparation. So
can
with that
you,
mindset,
sorry to
uh huh.
interrupt,
Go ahead.
can you actually dive into detail about the intensive preparation? What does that look like for
Well,
somebody that
well,
needs to prepare
well.
intensely? Like, can you
For,
describe that?
First of all, I have some theories on like how fighting games should be played, especially for that game. So I said some people will win with gimmicks and stuff. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna tell everybody exactly all my tactics. So I did that. I'm gonna tell this is how I'm gonna stream every single game that I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play on stream. I'm gonna make sure everybody knows. I'm gonna even teach people on stream what the fuck I'm doing,
Mm,
what I'm doing. So if I then I'm gonna try to win this way. So nobody can say shit that they didn't know anything because I taught everybody. Do you understand?
yeah.
And I still won. So it was like the best feeling ever. So it's like knowing like, oh wow, it doesn't matter if they know what I'm doing because it's not like I can adapt. So my training was super intensive because I always believe that you're only as good as the people you play with.
That's
So
very
that
true.
means okay, I need to invite everybody. So I expanded my web. So Japan showed up. Yikes was there. Marlin Pie,
Your
East Coast,
house.
everybody, all over NorCal, SoCal, Arizona showed up to the house and stuff.
In your
I
house, the
was playing
FGTV.
FGC, yeah, the first one, right?
Yes.
And then I was playing 12, 16-hour days.
Ooh.
It got into a point, like, mind you, this is like 4 straight weeks of that craziness. I said this story many times. My fingertips got blistered to the fullest. Like they're fucked already, super blistered. I can't play. I was like, man, but I can't stop playing because if I stop playing, like my opponents are training probably just as hard. So I had to learn to play with my inner fingers. This one,
Wow.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
So I played with this. Imagine playing marble like this without using your fingertips, right? So I got really good at this.
Wow.
So I practiced. So so while doing this, after like 3 or 4 days or doing this, I got really good. But this one blistered up just as bad as the first one because they don't have any callus because they don't have my
You
fingertips
never
compared to my
use them.
fingertips, you
You
know?
never use them.
Okay, well, guess what? By the time this one got fucked, this one healed. So we're back at it.
Yeah.
So I got an extra pair. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, we good, we good. So
This
I
is
got good at
crazy.
that. So I just kept going. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go play. I don't care. We're gonna play
Yeah.
because we don't care about what happens if I lose or win. I don't care about that. The point here is, did I play my best
Mm.
that day or not? Most of the time the answer there is no. I don't think I played my best at Evo,
Wow.
but I go there. I'm not nervous. It's like my only opponent there is me, basically, because I'm one of the favorites. Me and Justin were favorites to win the whole shit. Like,
Correct.
anyways,
Well, yeah,
we
because you
I
guys were dominating.
yeah, basically me, Crush G, and Justin has won 90% of all the tournament. Actually, maybe 97% of all the tournaments throughout from that 2011 period all the way until like 2015. Like, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I've won like
I
500 plus
remember.
tournaments to all the monthlies and the weeklies too.
Yeah.
It's insane. So like Justin and Chris G. So we won everything.
Yeah.
And then if we don't win, we get second or third, fourth. Like, and then one of those guys, we're gonna win. Like, you know what I mean? So it
Mm-hmm.
got into that point that we're just super confident. But during this time, um, so I go to there. I'm not nervous at all because I'm confident, but I'm also don't have pressure like I need to win because, bro, come on, I won back-to-back majors before this already. It's okay,
Mm.
just relax,
So
just make sure.
you're saying 4 weeks leading up to Evo, you played 12 to 16 hours.
Yeah,
Okay, on
yeah,
average daily before the 4 weeks of Evo,
like
how? So
maybe eight
eight
to nine.
hours, 8 to 9 hours.
That's crazy hours.
No, that is a full-time job. That is easy for me
Oh,
to
it's
do
dope.
when I was in high school, but it is not easy for me to do anymore.
Yeah, definitely. But during that time, there was like, okay, so I did that and I
Mhm.
played a lot. You know what? Since I didn't have any pressure, it's crazy. I didn't lose a single game in Marvel all the way until top eight, mind you,
Wow, wow.
on a 1,200 man bracket. I swear,
That is crazy.
I didn't lose a single game. It's the one of the craziest stat out there. Is that so? But I got to top eight now. I lost my focus the next day because I'm not the same as Sharp for some reason because I know I'm fighting my training partner, which is Combo Fiend, which is my teammate at that time as well.
Yeah, that was
So
your first match
obviously,
of top eight.
yeah, I'm not gonna like smoke him because we don't really smoke each other like that. I don't know who's gonna win that day. You know what I mean? Because he's
Yeah,
my teammate. We
yeah,
play each other.
yeah.
So we're gonna split games. It's gonna be 50-50, right? It depends who just clutch it out at the end. Okay, whatever. So I end up taking that. So I was super confident. At this point, I was like, this is one of my mistakes. It's like, oh yeah, I won the whole shit already. Doesn't matter. I beat Peter, it's GG. So I end up
Really?
fighting
Wow.
Infrit, and then I end up losing. And I was shocked. How did I choke that up? But I made a lot of mistakes. I was too confident. I lost focus. It's like, oh my God, I just got too confident. Okay, now I have to fight Chris G, which fight Chris G and I have to come back. That's a 50-50 also.
Mm.
Survive that. I was like, okay, now in the grand finals, I should just win this outright. He can only come back with me with that bullshit Sentinel. And during that time, it was kind of hard. Then
Yeah.
after that, he cannot really win outright. And then after that, it is what it is. But when I won, every single Evo after that, I got in top eight anyways. But then every single year, the same preparation was the same. It's just like sometimes it would not go your way. So I'm not necessarily disappointed when I don't win, as long as I try to play my best. So there's no pressure anymore. So I'm just
Mm.
happy to play because I'm doing something that I love. I'm sponsored to do it. So it's like everything is just positive.
Yeah.
Events pay me to attend. I get salary to play. I get stream. Like, what is there to complain about? Life is good. Like, so I'm not even nervous anymore when I play
Mm.
that game. So then I didn't really play Street Fighter anymore at that point. I think I stopped playing Street Fighter at like 2012 for sure. But
Yeah.
then I end up, yeah, I didn't really play anymore. Actually, I still enter and I still do good. I mean, even won a few tournaments, but then I don't play anymore as well. Like, but that's like the game that you just coast.
Well, I mean that leads into the next thing that I wanted to talk
Mhm.
to you about was, you're one of the Marvel gods. You
Mhm.
are the best Dalsum in the world. How do you, for a very long time, I've always heard like, if you're a fighting game player, it's very healthy for you to play Tekken, Mortal Kombat, other fighting games, Virtua Fighter, etc., in order for you to understand how fighting games work and see things that work in other games, and it makes you an overall better fighting game player, and you helps you understand. Now, I heard that for a very long time, and I've
Mhm.
seen that with players like Justin Wong and with
Yeah.
you and Ryan Hart, because he's played everything. He's played
Yeah.
every fighting game ever. So,
Yeah.
and Daigo also plays anime games from the past, and
Yeah.
so does Tokido, and it just makes me wonder, how do you balance something like that? Because lately it feels much harder to be able to do something like that and win a title. So, for
Yeah.
example, Arslan Ash, the Tekken 7 GOAT,
Mm-hmm.
he tried to get into Street Fighter 6 when
Uh-huh.
Street Fighter 6 came out. And I remember seeing on Twitter that he was talking about how, if he continues to play Street Fighter 6, then he's going to have to sacrifice some of his Tekken skills. And he didn't want to do that.
Totally.
So he
Yeah.
dropped Street Fighter and continued to focus
Totally.
on Tekken, and which was the right decision for him because he ended
Yes.
up winning the Capcom Cup of Tekken.
Uh-huh.
So, from your perspective as somebody who, had to drop Street Fighter in order for you to win Marvel Evo, and having the Marvel skills and the Street Fighter skills, how is someone supposed to balance that? What's the reality of it, and what does it look like?
So So that idea they said you have to play many fighting games to understand how to become better in fighting games. I don't think I believe that. I think that you don't need. I don't think that's the only way to be good in fighting games. But it will help because you understand different styles, and there might be the different character from a different game that you play that might give you some sort of like idea how to deal with that matchup if you play in this other game that you're playing.
I see.
So like that's like the very small thing. Look, I have plays and won other games. Like for instance, like not just Marvel and Street Fighter, I did Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat X. During that time, I played even Cross Tekken. I was playing 5 games, with Marvel and Street Fighter. I was
Yeah.
ending them. But it's not like I was trying in those games like as hard. I have a main game, but say I was gonna play 80, 90%. The other ones were just few reviews. It's you're just coasting with your fundamentals at that point.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like you're putting it at all, giving it at all, but like you're still gonna be a threat because you're super sharp because you're playing a lot of fighting games.
Yeah.
And then you're also maining the other one, plus you're a pro level. So it doesn't really matter at that point. But guys like Justin Wong, he will just play his style, and bro, it trust me, it doesn't matter. It's like he will just play his style, and that style is super hard to beat
Yeah.
on any fighting game you play. But
Lamest player I've ever played against,
yeah,
other than
yeah,
Dominion and
super
Knuckle
good.
Dude.
Yeah, super good. So like so I think that playing multiple fighting games in general is great, but then when you need an extra edge, you cannot you cannot have any sort of distractions because in a tournament that's going to distract you because that happens to me like a lot. Look, at EVO 2017 when I got top 8 at Street Fighter, right? Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
And then I was top 32 winners in Marvel 3, but then I was busy in my Street Fighter run. I had to DQ myself there. DQ me in Marvel. I don't care. You could ask them that. I said I would give my match away. Like, it's okay. You guys can have it.
Wow.
DQ me. They don't want to DQ me, so I go there and just lose. I don't care because I have to. I can't put any more energy to this one because I'm have to make a run unlike a bunch of Japanese pros. I have to fight Mamochi, Fujimura. I have to fight Wolf Krone. Then also I have to fight Verlor. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
or in a row.
Yeah.
So like, bro, I don't care about the Marvel. I already done everything to be done in that.
Yeah.
I need to get my top 8 in Street Fighter first. So
Yeah.
I'm complete. So I don't care about that. Yeah. So I you imagine that that's my favorite game. I have to do that because I need more like focus at that point because those guys are maining the game. So let's say you're equally skilled, for instance, if they're gonna have a small edge already.
Of
If
course.
I'm distracted because I'm thinking about my Marvel games over there, I have to go bounce around back and forth, especially at Evo.
Yeah.
In other majors, it doesn't matter as much. But look at Taquito. He's probably, if not the greatest or second, right? Within him and Justin, that plays multiple fighting games. Taquito will go to a tournament and will get top 8 in literally every game, right?
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
But he wasn't like the guy at any of the games during that time. He wasn't the guy. He was like the jack of all trades. He wasn't winning the tournaments on Street Fighter, You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he will get top 8, but he's not going to win. You know what I mean? So he understood that he needed to quit the other games and just focus on Street Fighter
Mm-hmm.
because games nowadays has gotten more accessible, or would say quote unquote easier as well in a way. But then there's more information out there, so it's a lot easier for people to improve or get better and also
Right.
watch you play.
Yeah.
So you don't have those easy wins with knowledge checks anymore. You
Right.
don't have that. So before you would just normally have that. Like you're fighting an
Or just
opponent.
fundamentals are just better in
Yeah,
neutral, and you could just beat somebody like that. But now it's like,
yeah.
oh,
You
you
can't do
didn't
that
study
anymore.
this interaction in Mortal Kombat. Good luck. I'm about to
Did
abuse
that
it.
GG. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You cannot do that anymore. Yeah. So that's why you have to focus to one game, especially now, because now since the game basically before you can just have a defense. Actually, I spoke to Justin yesterday about that. I asked him why is like somebody like a player who's like a 8 out of. I say if a player is like a 7 out of 10, even like a 7.5 out of 10, and you fight somebody that's like a 9.5 or 10 out of 10, right? Whatever. How come when they fight, you 50-0 that person? Like you don't talk about. Like, I'm pretty sure, Chris, you fought somebody that's like really good, but then you're like a couple levels above, you will destroy him 50-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I asked him that, why is it like that, Justin? Why is it that bad? He said, well, because he answered this. He was talking about the other fighting games. He wasn't talking about primarily Street Fighter because I asked him a general fighting game question. He said, so for instance, it will if your offense is normal, like it's like a 5 out of 5, whatever. Five, I mean, let's say a normal, like an 8 out of 10, and then your opponent's defense is like an 8 or a 7 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
But then your defense, since you are better, is like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. He will never hit you or win ever. So it will just compound. He will never hit you, but you will hit him. So over time, it just compounds and you just beat him.
Mhm.
But see, he answered that based on the previous games, like in the past, because you could just do that. You could just have a superior defense, neutral, anti-air. It doesn't matter what this guy's set play is gonna look like. He can't just force his way in there, and he's gonna, you know what I mean? You're gonna kill him.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So in the more modern games, you cannot do that. Like especially SF5, bro. That's not gonna stop our Mika, bro. You know what I mean? Like trying
No.
to play some. You know what I mean?
No.
You're not gonna do that. They changed already. So the concept of that slowing them down, zoning them out, like this gone long time ago. So that increased the variance of the fighting game in general. So that means you need to be more complete to keep an edge,
in
to keep
in
the
in
edge
the
that you have.
multiple games, you're gonna have to be more complete. So if you are trying
Yeah,
to focus on one, if that's your main game, you're it's better to actually just focus on that game. And if you want to play other
I agree.
games, then it should just be for fun, unless you truly
Yeah,
do want to win. And the thing is, I would say, I'd like to get your input on this as well. Like the average fighting game player is probably what, like from the age of 20 to 35, right? On
I
average
would
it would
say
probably be like
17,
17
16,
to 30.
17.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
so
so, brother. I think so. I
okay.
think so.
Okay, so let's just break this down into like the reality of the situation of you being a fighting game player that is interested in multiple fighting games and want to play multiple fighting games, but you also want to win. You don't want to just play to play. I mean,
You
we
definitely try to win. Yeah,
you should definitely try to win if you're investing all those hours and whatnot. But if you're 17 years old, 18 years old, even 19 years old, you have time in the day. I can say that from experience. 17,
sure.
18, I'm in high school, summer break. 19,
For
it's my
sure.
first year of college. I'm just fucking around. So you have time to be able to invest, maybe not 8 to 9 hours, but at least 4 to 6 hours. That 4 to 6 hours once you get to college in that first year, because the first year of college, everybody fucks up. But when you're in high
Mm-hmm.
school and you have that, you're the type of kid that had the same mindset as I did and other champions as well, is you will make the sacrifice of playing 8 to 9 hours, but also make sure that your
Yeah.
homework is done. Now, for the grown adult, for somebody who is not sponsored and is getting into Street Fighter or getting into Tekken, whatever it may be, they want to be able to win a tournament. Like, realistically, how many hours do you think that person should put? For me, I think if you can, every day 2 to 4 hours. But if you can't, then every day at least 2 hours. And if you can't even do that, then you got it. Then the dream has to be really big, because you probably have so much on your plate with married, kids, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You got to balance everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just difficult for somebody who's not getting paid in order to invest so
Yeah,
much
yeah,
time. So
totally.
how does that person like balance
Oh,
that dream of theirs? Because to me, I say I'm a big believer in pursuing your dreams and believing in yourself to be
sure.
able to win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, but it has to be realistic. So what kind of winning are we talking about? What kind of winning?
Like there's the
Because
local, the major, and then the EVOs.
What is
So
that?
let's
What do you mean by that?
let's
Yeah,
say
which one?
let's oh that's I like that. Let's start
It
off with
matters. Yeah,
the local. The person wants to win the local, and
he
then let's
definitely.
move that up to the major.
Okay, major. Let's say not tier two major, not like tier one, where like the top
Tier
10
two
players
major.
will go.
Exactly.
Tier two.
Exactly.
Okay,
Tier two major.
okay,
Yeah.
that's not possible anymore.
Mm,
Unfortunately, that's not possible anymore. That's not possible because just look at it. You are super distracted, automatic, because you have other responsibilities because you're an adult. You have kids. You have a wife. You have a job, and then you are a super part timer, but you love this. But you definitely can be a top player easy.
yeah.
In order for you to win, everybody that you run into that's like sort of just as good as you or better than you needs to fuck up
Yeah.
and you need to play your best for you to win the whole tournament. That's quite hard,
That is
I
very
swear.
hard. Yes, that's very, very
Yeah,
hard.
but it's possible. But like I'm saying, like it's not. It's just not anymore. Not today. Not this day of age
I
because
agree.
there's more information out there. It's a lot easier to get better nowadays because you have online. You have more access to play with other people as well. So like, sure, you have 2 to 3 hours a day. That's a lot of practice. Pretty good. But then, how are you going to compete with somebody who has a bigger network,
Yeah.
right, of friends or players to play with that plays 8 hours? You're just not gonna compete. The longer the game goes, right? The more we get to year two, year two, 2.5,
Yeah.
and then you go year three, the worse it will go for that person who's
Right.
playing 2 hours.
You're dropping
At the
off.
start, talent can get you there, but then over time, the hard worker will just outpace that guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not possible nowadays. But I do think realistically, sure, anybody can be a top player that way. It just depends on how efficient is how they're using that 2 to 3 hours they have. It depends.
Yeah.
How efficient are you using your training?
Yeah. I
You
like
definitely can
that.
be
You have to be
pro
efficient.
level, but to win is different, especially nowadays.
Oh, it's very
To win
difficult to
is
win
hard.
now. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
but like you
difficult.
could definitely be pro level for sure. You can definitely get 2K MR for sure. That's doable.
Yeah.
Like, but that's a lot of like, mind you, even though you're only playing 2 to 3 hours, you're not necessarily playing for 2 to 3 hours because your mind is thinking about the game as well throughout the work or sometimes like while with your kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're thinking about that. So you, even though you're not physically like playing, you're constantly thinking about the game, what you could do better.
Yeah.
Remember thinking about the losses that you had. So so it's still more hours in that sense, but yeah, it's gonna be hard to compete with somebody that's like, for instance, like they run into um safe. Okay? They
Yeah.
run into safe. They run into Jack, the dual Kevin in that major. Bro,
You're done.
if you're playing 2 to 3 hours, bro, they have no chance to compete with those cats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You run into Gustavo and Snake. You know what I mean? It's gonna be rough for you. You're gonna have a bad day. Don't matter what kind of talent you got. I'm sorry, that's not gonna save you in this one.
Yeah.
Like, keep it real, because those guys are world class for a reason. So it's not necessarily gonna be yeah. It's not possible anymore. Back in the day, you can for sure
Yeah.
because the average skill level is slightly lower and the games are harder they're harder like for you to just get bulldozed, right, in a way.
Yeah.
But also defense is super strong, so somebody with a stronger fundamentals will compound like times 5, so the other guy with less experience will just automatically default lose.
Yeah.
So
And I really like how you said, you have to face the reality of the situation. There comes a point where,
mhm,
as a man, you got to face the reality of your situation and what you're trying to get involved in if you're trying to win these majors and whatnot. It's like stepping into the NBA. You're not going to play
yeah,
basketball for 1 year and expect to be in the NBA. You're not going to be able to
yeah,
beat the top 1% of NBA players if you just picked up a
mhm,
ball last year or 2 years ago. These guys
yeah,
have been
for
playing,
sure,
we've been playing our whole lives. So
yeah,
the
it's
reality is it's not so, I don't want to come off very gloomy where you just don't have a chance, but the more hours you put in, the more outcome you
better
can get
chance,
from
yeah,
it. And I think that if you are somebody who does have a dream of winning a tournament or anything like that, you could
mhm,
maybe sacrifice like some time in order to do that. And if your family's understanding, I'm sure they would support that. But if you can see that it's not really in the cards for you, then just play the game for fun and try to get better. And then maybe you do have an opportunity that strikes. You could strike gold one day at some tournament, but who knows?
mhm,
But you shouldn't
yeah, for sure,
you shouldn't be like you have to face the reality of the situation. So I really
Really,
like that. I mean, that's something that I'm currently going through as well. You know, I'm 15 years in this, and I'm
you're
at a point
different.
in my life
Come
where
on, you're
it's
different. No, it's different already, Chris. You really did the work of playing many
right. Well,
already. You got
getting to
into the
that one
highest
percent.
level.
Yes, yes. So I
Yeah, you got into
understand.
the fucking top of the food chain level already. So you can just get by at 3 to 4 hours for sure because you're
Correct.
already there. You just
Correct.
need to maintain at that point and just add a few things.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, but okay, let me give you a crazy stat. Okay,
Yes.
this is like crazy,
And
but
remind me about
eh,
that. Remind me about that because that's going to lead into our next conversation. But go ahead, give me that stat.
okay, every single Evo champion, okay, every single Evo champion didn't have kids or don't have kids when they won. Brother, look, think about it. We can go back. Okay, infiltration.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Okay, you got Koano. Nope. Okay, we go down. Okay, who won the other one? Who
Daigo's
won
won two Evos for Street Fighter.
yeah, no Daigo for sure. No Tokido. Okay, infiltration. Nothing, right?
Bonchan.
Okay. Okay.
Bonchan.
Me, Chris G, none. Bonchan didn't have the twins yet during that time when he
Uh-huh.
won.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we can keep going down. Luffy.
Gachikun.
Nope. Gachikun. Nope. Okay. I'm telling you.
They know
Furo.
nobody had a
Nope.
kid.
Nobody, bro. Nobody, my brother. Like I'm telling you, there's a
That's
reason for
huge.
that.
No, that's huge.
But that's a crazy stat.
No,
Think
that's a
about it.
crazy stat. Yeah.
Justin Wong didn't have kid, didn't have his beautiful daughter Harper during that time
Right.
when he won. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so that has to mean something. If that's a 100%, we got a really good.
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah, that's a crazy ass stat,
Yeah,
G.
that is.
Like
That is.
you know, bro. So how do you even fuck with that? Okay, Angry Bird, does he have kids?
Nah.
No chance.
No.
Yeah.
Mena. No kids.
No. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
You cannot compete with
And
that
Mena
because
won
you
that
have
shit
to.
twice. Mena won Capcom
Yes.
Cup twice. Yeah. No kids.
You know what I mean? How do you don't have kids? So
Okay.
like,
So
see, that's a big stat.
so I'm
Yeah.
what we were talking. That's a crazy stat.
I won the tournament versus Psycho and stuff, and then I
Yeah.
started winning more because
It's
I added more heart.
the way you're mentioning it, and I'm using basketball because we're
Sure.
both Laker fans, even though they're in shambles
Mhm.
right now. God help them. But I'm using basketball because what you're mentioning right now sounds like the basketball player that's like LeBron James who had to work on handles, passing the
Mm,
ball, shooting the ball, dunking the ball, getting rebounds, steals, blocking.
yeah.
LeBron is known for the greatest block in history of basketball.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But he also has the most points. He also has so many more attributes about him. So he's like
Mm-hmm.
the 10 out of 10 lab, the 10 out of 10
Yeah.
guts. He's just
Yeah.
one of the greatest examples
Perfect.
of that, right? So
Yeah.
that's what it made me think of is like you're a fighting game player, your dribbling lab, your free throw making lab, right? Your blocking guts. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
Oh,
what
that
I'm
makes more
saying?
sense.
Like
That's right. Clutch shots is
yeah,
guts, right?
clutch
Like
sauce
that.
is
Yeah.
guts. Your blocking
Mm-hmm.
is guts. Your stealing the ball
Mm-hmm.
is guts, but
Yeah.
also a little
Yeah.
bit of lab because you have to study how he's,
Yeah.
But
How
your
he
the
moves. Yeah.
dribble of the ball is lab. The free throws
Yeah.
is lab. So
Yeah.
that's
That
what that
makes
made me
sense.
think of. That's actually crazy.
Oh,
But
that makes more
that's the
sense. Yeah,
fighting
it makes
game
sense.
version of that. That's the fighting game version of that.
Fucking awesome. Yeah, that's a good
That's
one.
fucking
That's
awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah.
yeah, that's really good.
Well, that's good. That was a great breakdown of
Yeah,
that because I definitely have to work on my labbing.
you
And
don't
when
have
I
to work in that,
man, when I no,
Chris.
when I lab with you, bro, when I was labbing like just the other day when you were showing me the frame perfect stuff and the non-frame perfect, I'm like, dude, there's so much of my
You see
area
how
that I
fast?
could just
You see how fast? You see how fast I can figure it out,
it's
right? It's
insane. It's
different talent
insane.
though.
It's
I'm saying, but
insane.
it's not needed to win, brother.
No, of
It's a
course, of
good to
course.
have.
But it's
I
good
know
to
about
have.
this because before I couldn't win if I'm just using that.
Mm.
Because you know what you're gonna happen if you only have that. You're only gonna be like one of those guys who just make setups on YouTube. Do you understand? There's a difference. Why I have won many tournaments,
Yes.
have placed in many tournaments, right? Because you need to have what you have as well,
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good to have to do it. So instead, me, San, we use our talent. Shady K has that too to help people also improve. Like it's good to have. It's like
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So it's a good to have that like there's no problem that you cannot really answer. You have an answer for. I swear. You
No,
can't. There's no such thing. I
well,
swear. You can do it. You can. Like You just can't.
No, I
Sir.
believe you. I believe you. And I mean, there's a reason why I come to you for this as well, because when I do see how you break down these situations, it also helps me understand, okay,
Mhm.
Chris, this is how you can lab. This is what you can do better in this situation. It's
Yeah.
very helpful when I can approach somebody that can just analyze. You're like Chat GPT, bro. I can just present you with a puzzle and you can solve it instantly for me. And if not exactly solve it, you could tell me, hey, there's this way around it, there's this way around it. You have to open your mind for this situation, and then let's try to break it down. You're always very positive, very, very positive. And that's just that you can't replicate that, man. And for somebody that tends to lean more on the negative side, if I'm getting frustrated, and I'm sure there's
That's
a lot of
normal.
listeners out there that get frustrated, it is so helpful when you have a friend who can
Yeah.
fucking just bring that positive
Yeah.
energy and just be like, let's solve this puzzle, bro.
Yeah.
Let's break this down. Let me help
Okay.
you. So that's
Okay.
just that's something that I'm very
Let me
thankful
say
to you
something.
as my homie for that.
Okay. Let me say something about that. Okay. So since me, I coach a lot of players in general. Okay. So somebody losing, they're gonna get on the negative side. So what you're feeling is that emotion. That's normal. You're allowed to have that feeling. So my job as your friend or coach slash to the other players I'm coaching, that I'm supposed to not join your emotional train. Okay, because you're supposed to feel that way because you know why you're passionate about this. You love it. You're supposed to. I'm supposed to understand.
Yeah.
But then I need to hear you out and hear the problems and try to solve you and
Yeah.
try to steer you away from your emotions at that time because you're not going to be like that all the time. You're only that for that moment. It's okay. So, anyways, that point where you're emotional, that is standard, bro. Everybody feels that way, but you just need to snap out of it a little bit more faster than
Yeah,
usual.
well, that's what
Because,
happens between top
yeah,
players is that we can snap out
yeah,
of it faster
absolutely.
than those who cannot reach that level.
Hmm. That's absolutely okay, bro, that you feel that way. And then I'm there to listen to you and be like, okay, I think you could solve this if you do this. It's kind of like, like you got LeBron James who's the player, and then he has a coach. For instance, like let's say Spo, right, or
Hmm.
Ty Lue, for instance. Like Ty Lue cannot play that LeBron's style, but he can kind of see what he can do better, and they will tell him. For instance, right?
Yeah,
Like it's a different perspective. So that definitely will help that player. It's like,
yeah,
oh yeah, that's right, right. So I'm using a different skill set to help people. It's something that I can't even use in a game. I could probably maybe use a little bit of it because it adds more knowledge to my game, right?
you're
But
right.
then in general, that's mostly a different hat that I can use to teach or spread the knowledge to the FGC in general to help people constantly because
No,
I
I
want to
agree.
elevate the fighting game like talent in general. Like my one of my I'm such a fan of anything that's the highest level play. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
I'm so sad that fighting games never get to the point where the game is solved. When I say this, it's like when you watch like StarCraft, like it was the oldest esport game.
mm,
That game is like super optimized to the fullest. Okay, super optimized. It's like almost mapped out to the fullest. You can do some oddball stuff, some deviations, but at the end of the day, it's mapped out because the game's been out so long. Fighting game players, we don't got it good because we have to keep switching games every 5, 6 years.
and every
So
year the something's changed too.
a patch even like that, right? So we need to constantly do that. So I wanted to see what happens. So like let's say we become like 40 or 50 someday, right?
Yeah,
Like they were probably not playing like that anymore. We're just watching
right,
and still a fan of fighting games.
right.
I would love to see the next generation of like motherfuckers who are just super good, optimized at everything. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
love to see that. I
Well,
love
isn't it
fighting games.
crazy that like in there was still tech being discovered in Street Fighter
Yeah,
4 in like years down
yeah,
Street Fighter 5 line.
absolutely.
So that's what we're talking. I don't even know if there's
Yeah,
tech. There's probably tech even being shown for Turbo and Street Fighter 3. Who
yeah,
knows?
absolutely.
Which I'm sure
We
there
never
has to
got
be,
maxed
right?
out.
But I
Yeah,
wanna
never got maxed.
I wanna I wanna ask you one more question, and it's a very important question because it's something that has been triggering me lately within watching these tournaments and hearing some
Mm,
people talk. Uh, we talked about this in the beginning. You had mentioned your personality and
mm,
how you were a villain and you still are a
mm.
villain and
Not
that
anymore.
well
Not anymore.
in
I
some
haven't done that in a while.
okay, well, I mean,
Yeah, I swear, I
I
haven't
haven't
done it.
seen that then,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I haven't
you
done
were a
that in a
villain
while.
for the longest time.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And the reason why I'm highlighting that is because your personality, it wasn't forced. You didn't force that that personality of you. It was kind of like you used your personality and you knew how to be a villain with it as well. And it wasn't
Yeah,
what we see today
yeah, yeah.
with, I'm sorry, bro, but I'm not a fan. I'm a grown ass man and I just grew up in a different type of setting.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a fan of the shake my hand, don't shake my hand. Oh, he's shaking his
Okay.
hand. He's not shaking his hand. Oh my God, he's not shaking his
Yeah,
fucking hand. Or
I know.
like, bro, it
I
just
know.
seems so fucking forced and so
I,
not
that's,
my vibe. Like
yeah.
I can't fuck with that. It just seems so fake, so forced. And
Hmm.
it's not just the handshake, this and that. It's the fucking it's the it's the weird shit talk. It's the meme shit talk when players
Yeah,
say certain things. It's the getting up on stage and pretending we have beef type shit. It's the fucking
yeah.
weird shit that I am. That's the only way to say it, you know? Like I'm cursing, but that's really the only way to say it. It's just
Well,
fucking
that's
weird
your
and
perspective,
very
and
very
yeah.
forced. And I
Well,
grew up in the era of being mentored by Watson,
oh
Valle.
yeah,
And that is
goat.
as real as you
Oh,
can
I
get
can't
when
wait
it
to
comes
get.
to
Oh
talking
man,
shit.
yes, I
You're
love those guys,
like
man.
like I grew
Yeah,
up as a 15, 14, 15-year-old kid
for sure.
going to tournaments with the HD crew with Brent and all of these guys. We're fucking hearing Valle and Mike tell us stories about
Yes,
what
it's
happened
normal.
back then and how we think and how
Yeah,
we need to snap the fuck out of it, whatever it may be, you know. I'm listening to these
yeah,
guys
for
and I'm
sure.
like, man, yeah, this is some real ass shit, you know, like that's the people I grew up with. But then it's
Yeah,
like the FGC now and the
it's
personalities
different, bro.
now, it's bro,
It's different.
like
Yep.
there is a
Totally.
niche for that type of personality. I get it. If that's your
Yeah,
niche, all power to you. It is what it is, bro. I just don't fuck
yeah,
with that. But like I know there has to be a group of men out there who do not you can sense the fakeness. You can sense like the, oh my God, let's all pretend like we're shocked. Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
bruh.
Well, okay, Chris, you
I
gotta
just please,
understand this.
please dive
You,
into this, man, because I
okay,
can't handle that
okay,
shit no
okay.
more, bro.
Look, I know you don't like it because you're coming from a different generation, which is like sort of close to my generation. Okay, like, but you cannot compare that era anymore. Okay, during that time, especially okay, Street Fighter era. Let me tell you, Street Fighter in general, there's not a lot of personalities as much. Like because since it's an international game, a lot of cultures will collide, and people cannot really talk shit like that. Like that. Marvel and community talking shit is normal, it's standard. It's like a
Hmm.
normal Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah,
standard. After the shit talking, high five, good games, man. See you next time. It's kind of like
yeah.
that. It's just all part of the banter, kind of like playing sports. You talk shit to your opponent. It's normal.
Let me make a
Okay, but
disclaimer
now,
real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Just
go
one
ahead,
second.
go. No worries.
You fall in that realness category, but also it feels like everyone is trying to be smug.
Yeah, no
Smug.
worries.
That's like Smug's personality and what he's done. He literally, that's him, bro.
That's
Everybody's trying
him.
to steal,
That's
and I'm not trying to
unique.
talk shit on Smug. It's just
Anybody.
when
Yeah.
he does it, it's real.
Oh,
When
great.
Smug does
We
it,
love
it's
it.
great. We fucking love it
Great.
because I know
Love it.
Smug. I've known Smug for 10
Yeah.
years now.
Yeah.
So I know who he is and I know
All
that's the
love
type
there.
of,
All love.
yeah. And he
Yeah.
doesn't do like the cringiest of the cringe. It's just when he does
Oh
it,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
for
a
sure.
comedian. It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
comedian.
He's
That's
doing smug.
he's doing
He's
Smug.
the original.
But
So he can do whatever he wants.
yes,
He's
and
the
now
original. Yeah.
everybody is fucking everybody. So that's what I was getting into. I wasn't like I just wanted to
Yeah.
shout out Smug because that's the motherfucker that is
We love
real.
that. Yeah, he's real. So okay, so okay. So these the next gen now, it's like it's hard for them to have some sort of like their own personality to be creative because it's kind of like who they gonna copy. Like I'm serious.
Yeah.
And then also they're a bit more filtered now on what they can say as well. So they have to go for something that's a bit more standout. But then in a way, they're really cringy.
It's so cringe.
Okay. Like one
So
personality that
cringe.
I really, really like from the start when he bust out was like Punk because he was unique. But what he said when he was at the Alpha, he was unique, bro.
Hmm.
Punk, he was unique.
Hmm.
Okay. You like he talks enough shit that's super like keeps the his games more interesting in general, regardless of the results, whatever it is.
Right.
You could have issues with other players, like but like I'm talking like he's bringing in the hype that's needed in the game to add more flair. In a sense, he's doing his work for that. Okay, like but we're talking about the other cats
Right.
like.
The
it's
memesters
kind
on
of hard.
Twitter, the
Yeah,
quote
the memes.
retweets, the
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then those guys with the fucking the Twitter profile is like a
yeah.
fucking anime character. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
And it
those
ain't
guys.
just them, bro. There's a lot of players out there. It ain't just them. There's a
Yeah,
lot of players out
yeah.
there. And I've seen that shit a
So
lot
much.
in tournaments. It's just weird, bro.
Yeah. Like I say, like you're gonna have those guys with like very dry personality, but then
Yeah.
they're gonna try. So since you know what, bro, I think you can also blame them too because well, during the time that we were playing, like around the Street Fighter 4, Marvel 3 era, right? And then 5, there were a lot of offlines and locals.
Yeah.
So we're actually more social. We go out a lot.
Yeah.
Now they're going to this generation. They don't get to go out like that. They don't have locals as that. They're playing mostly online and they're
Yeah.
keyboard warriors.
Yeah. People cry
So
about Kaba yelling, but they don't understand what it was
fucking
like
standard,
to
bro.
go to a East Coast tournament
Yeah,
and have people literally
brother.
moving your chair or
Yes,
screaming in your
yes,
face, screaming in
yes.
your face
That's
while you're
normal.
trying to concert. That shit was,
Yes,
we got used to that shit, bro. Like,
yeah, we get used to that.
yeah, like,
Yes, that's normal,
yeah.
bro. I was telling this story. I go to Umacon in Michigan, right? I go there. Mind you, I'm super close with the corn. If you notice in events,
Oh, yeah.
I'll hang
Corn.
out with those guys.
Shout outs to
I love
Corn.
those guys.
Yeah,
I
of
love
course,
corn,
of
bro.
course, of course.
Tight with all those guys. Footwork and those guys, right?
Yeah.
A la carte. Okay, so um, I go to their major. I'm playing one of their boys. Okay, they would go obviously root for their boy
Of
because
course.
I'm the away, they're the home, right? Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Even though I know them, there's respect and love there.
Yes.
They go behind my monitor. I started dancing behind the monitor,
Yeah.
distracting me, fucking yelling and shit.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to take that. Okay, when I go to tournaments, booing, whatever,
Yeah.
that's cake. I'm so used to like traveling all over the world. I'm gonna get booed mostly in USA, some parts of it. Like when I get booed, that's normal. But like dealing with that is like standard at that point.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
if you think about nowadays, there's none of that. So it's harder to build some personality that's gonna be kind of like cool.
That sticks
It's gonna be
true to
hard.
like the
Hard.
origins of
Yeah.
how fighting games started in the arcade scene. Now
Yeah.
let me clarify something. There's so much money on the line right now. Do I think that like somebody should be screaming in your face when you're on EVO top 8 or anything like that? Absolutely not.
I
Right?
think so.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh shit,
I
that's
I
crazy.
I have a different mentality about this. First of all, you see like Russell Westbrook and those guys when they're playing in
Mm,
Boston, whatever, right?
mm.
They get yelled at. They're playing for many,
Right,
times
right,
there.
right. That's a good point.
Like, how can you like? That's also part of skill. Like the amount, if you can like focus on what's the actual goal.
There should at
Those
least
guys
be
distract.
there should at least be a line though. Like somebody shouldn't be able to get in your face. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like I mean, they're not
Okay,
getting in
not
Russell
that
best.
close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You shouldn't
yeah,
be that close when there's that much money on the line. I think
yeah.
that's that because there's sponsors now involved and it has to be
Sure.
somewhat professional. But in terms of like the
The crowd
talking
should be
shit
able
and
to
whatnot, yeah,
talk.
like that's no problem.
Yeah.
But
If the
again,
crowd paid tickets, they should be able to say whatever the fuck they want.
right,
Like
as
to
long as it's
distract.
right, right.
It's within the lines of what's actual, like within the
It's
lines
shit
within the
talking.
game. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
No
Not like
racism,
talking about
no
their mom or
right.
their religion. None of that. Okay, but
Correct.
talking about within the game, you fucking suck. You know
Right.
what I mean? Kind of like that. You fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Okay,
I
like that
agree
should be
with you.
okay.
Hmm.
Okay, like but
Yes.
now if you do that, like they're gonna go to Twitter that you are mentally like harassing somebody.
Yeah.
Is affecting
It's a
this person's
micro
mental health
it's a
now. Like
microaggression.
yeah, it's gonna be like all sorts of shit now gonna be called to you. You're like a cyber bullier now. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
like so you can't even do that. You're kind of like walking on eggshells. Like what the fuck? You can't even do that.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that's a standard until now.
Yeah.
Like now, but now in the Street Fighter world, you can't do that at all. I
Yeah.
swear. I'm only speaking for the stuff that I know of, like the Street Fighter world. Because in the Marvel world, that's you still can do
Standard.
what we're
Yeah.
talking about. That's
Mhm.
standard. But in the Street Fighter world, bro, that is not standard. I'm telling you, that's like they're gonna, yeah, it's
Well, what
bad.
do you like? I mean, I'm glad that you broke down, why you think that there's such a dry personality
Hmm.
within the FGC now, and it's just, I'm going to be talking to so many other players about this. I plan to have Watson as a guest, Vi and other OGs as well to talk about like
Oh man, wisdom.
how the FGC has transformed into being a very
Yeah, love those
cutthroat
guys.
community,
Mm.
into a very underground cutthroat fight club type community, into what
Yeah,
it is today with memes and just this what is it called, like the ooh type personalities, you know, it's just
Yeah,
it just
yeah, yeah.
feels so forced and so fake.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't like
And
it too,
just
man.
know
I'm on
if
your
you,
side.
yeah, if you're one of those people that aren't a fan of that, don't feel alone. There's, you know, there's still top players that feel the same way that as you do. So you're not alienated. I don't want you to feel alienated. But for the masses that are like that, God help your soul. That's all I can say. But that's gonna actually end it for today's episode.
For sure.
I just
I had
want
a
to
lot of
thank you,
fun.
Ryan. Thank you so much for
For sure.
coming
I
on
had
the
a
show.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Dude, that was a great conversation. Like always, we always have
Yeah.
great conversations, and
You always do.
I really appreciate you for coming on, giving me this time. And for those of you that listened, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe for more of these episodes. You're not going to want to miss episode 3. I promise you that. We talked about him earlier today. I guess I'll mention it right now since it's the end of the episode. But episode 3 will have Justin Wong as my
Oh,
guest, and we are going to dive deep
that's my inspiration.
into
That's my
the
inspiration, bro.
questions. Yes, so it's going to be
That's my
great.
inspiration.
Make sure to give Ryan a follow as well on Twitch. Ryan, if you want to
Oh yeah, it's
provide
FChamp
your,
Brian on Twitch, guys. I do like live tutorials, teaching people in labs and stuff. They ask me questions about what they're having issues with, something. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah. So
it's
definitely
just
show some love to
check it out.
Ryan there. Subscribe to his YouTube as well. Just do everything, man. We need your support. And again, if you haven't liked and subscribed, I'm close to that 10,000. Hit that like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I
For
will
sure.
see you guys next time on
That's
episode
awesome.
3 with Talking with T. Peace.